Hey now, welcome to Freedomsufferer Cards video number 429. I sit down, man. And today, man, it is time for the NHL playoffs. I said down, man. And today we will preview the entire first round. This will be a little bit of a longer video. And for that reason, the shout out will go to all of you hockey fans out there. Or those of you that want to learn. Because this is going to be a preview, man. Which means information, stats, and facts. And we are going to start with the Western Conference. In the Central Division, the number one ranked Colorado Avalanche going up against the Nashville Predators, man. It's gonna be an interesting matchup. I can tell you that. I've made my prediction, and you will hear the prediction at the end of every preview. So we will start first with the stacked, ridiculously stacked Colorado Avalanche. Now, they were led this year in 75 games. Rantanen, we're talking about star power, man. Mikko Rantanen, 75 games played, 36 goals, 92 points, and a plus 35. I said down, man. Great year for Mikko Rantanen. Also, not to be forgotten, somebody called Nathan MacKinnon. Superstar. Star power, man. Showcase. We got Nathan MacKinnon, played only 65 games, still ended up with 32 goals and 88 points. In 65 games, I sit down, man. 22, plus 22, and 5 game-winning goals. Big time. And, not to be outdone, we got Nazi in the Leaf jersey here. Nazem Kadri. Nice little mirror. Rookie autograph. 71 games played, 28 goals, and 87 points. I sit down, man. Plus 13, 6 game-winning goals. They are spreading out that love. A lot of people love scoring the big goals. Don't forget about their captain. Bam! Gabriel Landeskog. All he did was play 51 games. In those 51 games, 59 points. 30 goals, man. Plus 27 and 5 game-winning goals. Are you getting it right now? They're spreading the love. A lot of game-winning goals. They don't rely on just one. Rantanen only had 2. Only. Next up, we got their defense. If you don't know, now you know. 77 games played. Cale Makar. I sit down. Star power. 28 goals. He's a defenseman. 28 goals. 86 points in those 77 games. Plus 48. Down. 6 game-winning goals for him. Getting it. 6 game-winning goals for a defenseman. You got Devin Taves, shown here, Future Watch with the Islanders. All he's doing, chipping in 66 games, 57 points. I sit down. Plus 52. 3 game-winning goals. See what I mean? Even their defense chipping in. Then you got Bowen Byram. If he's healthy, he showed you, even as a young prospect, 30 games played, 17 points, 2 game-winning goals. Bowen Byram, that defense is crazy. And in net, you got Darcy Kemper, shown here in Artifacts with Coyotes. Darcy Kemper in 57 games, 37 wins, 12 losses, 4 overtime losses. So that's pretty much a tie. Overtime losses to me, I mean, you don't know because it's 3-on-3 and then a shootout. And in the NHL playoffs, it is 5-on-5 and you go on and on and on until there's a winner. So he's also had a goals against average of 2.54, save percentage of 921. So 92.1% of the times he's going to stop it, and 5 shutouts. That's insane. Now, the goals against average across the league went up. There were goals being scored, records being broken, madness. So the goalies, goalies, any goalie with over 90% save percentage is considered decent this year. And the goals against average anywhere close to the low twos is excellent this year. But 2.54, that's pretty much on par with what you're seeing. Then you got the rookie, François, who played 21 games, 15 wins, 5 losses, 1 overtime loss. And his goals against average was also 2.55. So worse than by 0.1 and 0.916. That's 91.6% save percentage. 2 shutouts. Man. Madness. So that's what you got for their stars and their defense and their forwards. But I'm thinking, in every series, you got a couple of game breakers. You got some people that show up to do what they could do. They get like 2 or 3 goals all year long and then come to playoffs. Then they get like 4 in the playoffs. Well, I think this man, Manson, Josh Manson, was picked up by the Avs. He's going to have a couple of big goals. And not to be outdone, don't forget, you got people like Nichushkin. Okay, he's played 62 games, 25 goals, 5 game-winning goals. Deep. This team is deep. But I'm looking more at this man. 74 games played, only 9 goals, 20 points, 0 game-winning goals this year in the regular season, but he's going to get one in the playoffs. And I was hoping it was going to be with the Wild. There he is, man. Nico Sturm. Look at that filthy penmanship. Madness. Expect him to get a big goal. So that's your Colorado Avalanche. Heavy team to beat. And they're going up against the Nashville Predators. And you're thinking, what can Nashville do to stop the bleeding? Yeah, not much. I'm going to be honest with you. But you got Matt Duchene. He's a former Avs. He could bring a little bit of that extra payback. He's had an amazing bounce back year. 78 points. Everyone thought he was washed up. 78 games played, 86 points, 6 game-winning goals, and 43 goals. Sit down, man. 43 goals. What a bounce back year. Amazing. He was +6, so he's still sort of known for not back-checking that much. But then you got Phillip Forsberg. Foily. All he did in 69 games is get 84 points and 42 goals. 2 40-goal scorers on that team. Madness. So they've got offense this year. They could bring it. They're pretty deep. He had 8 game-winning goals, and he was a +10. A little bit more responsible, playing more like Popa, like Peter Forsberg. Madness. Bam! Granlund, nice bounce-back year. In 80 games played, he had 64 points. Solid year. 53 of those 64 points were assists. 3 game-winning goals. Nice foily trilogy, Granlund. Numbered to 999. So they got some weapons. And on defense, you're talking about a crazy year. He fell short. Played 2 less games. Call it managing your assets there and not risking an injury towards the end. He played 80 games instead of 82. He ended up with 96 points. We're talking about a defenseman right here, man. Beauty, exceptional. Numbered to 449. We got Roman Iosi. 80 games played, 23 goals, 73 assists, 96 points. Madness. Chipped in. A couple of those goals were game-winning goals. Then you got, on the other end, not to be outdone, but in comparison to those 96 points, he only got 31. Got Mattias Ekholm. He, in 76 games played, was a +14, 31 points. That's what you could expect from a decent, rugged defenseman. I mean, you can't ask for more. He plays a good game, a solid game. And Alex Carrier chipped in in 77 games played, he had 30 points. But he was a +26, so they got defense. And in net, you see Saros. He played 67 games. This is where I'm really worried about them. Most goalies this year, most teams tried to split it almost evenly between 2 goalies, or slightly more for the starting goalie. Because come playoff time, you don't want your dudes getting injured. And you see Saros right now, is day to day with a lower body injury, but 67 games played, 38 wins. Almost a 40-win season, 25 losses, and 3 overtime losses with a goals against average of 2.64. You're seeing it. It's going a little bit high this year. Save percentage, though, 91.8%. He's going to stop 91.8% of the shots and 4 shutouts. I'm telling you, man. Juuse Saros is good, but maybe he's a little overworked. Backup, Big Save Dave, shown here with the Flames. He had a rough year. I mean, his wins were okay. 17 games played. He had 6 wins, 3 losses, and 4 overtime losses, but his goals against average was 3.57. Man, letting in that many goals a game, it's hard to win. And his save percentage was 88.6. So that's tough. That's tough. It's going to be hard. But if there's one of those game breakers, those people nobody really know about on the Preds that sort of slides under that radar, it's Phillip Tomasino. Yeah, Tomasino, man. 76 games played, 11 goals, but 11 goals, and 3 of those were game winners, game-winning goals. 32 points. Expect to see him get a very big goal, because everyone else is going to be guarding, Duchesne and Forsberg and Granlund and Iosi, and they'll leave Tomasino open for a little Tomasino action. So, all things considered, I'm thinking you're going to see a third goalie show up, and he's also an X factor. I'm pretty high up on him. He hasn't done great this year, but we got Connor Ingram. Look at this beauty. Foily. Dang madness, man. If he could get a little action in the playoffs, that could only benefit his career. All of this said and done, Colorado Avalanche are going to sweep in 4. That's my call. And next up in the Central, we got the St. Louis Blues, who picked up that third ranking spot in a tough battle with the Minnesota Wild, who got the second spot, so they'll be getting home advantage. And that's a tough matchup. These two teams go at it, tooth and nail. They're both stacked. They both have great defense. The Blues have that gritty. They got the experience of having won a cup not too long ago. A lot of people write them off, and then they just show right back up, man. This is a little tougher to predict. We're gonna start with St. Louis, though. Show you what they got. Show you what they got going, man. Franchise trios here. These 3 are gonna be huge for them if they expect any kind of success. Jordan Binnington, who shared his duties with Charlie Lindgren and Ville Husso. I don't have cards of those 2 that I could find right now. Binnington chipped in 37 games. He got 18 wins, 14 losses, 4 overtime losses. His goals against average was 3.13. That's not good enough. Save percentage just over that 90%, 90.1%, and 2 shutouts. I'm telling you, it's tough. He had Ville Husso with 40 games played 3 more than him, and picked up 25 wins, 7 losses, much better, 6 overtime losses, and his goals against average was also much better at 2.56 goals a game. Save percentage, 91.9%. So I'm sure they're going to go with Husso. But they got Binnington. He's won a cup with them. They got options. They got Lindgren, who also he played 5 games. 5 wins, 0 losses with a goals against average of 1.22. That's amazing. And a save percentage of 95.8. So maybe they go with the kid. We don't know. But up front you got Tarasenko. He led the team. A nice bounce back here. 75 games played. There he is, man. 75 games played. 82 points. 34 of those were goals. Just stacked. And Ryan O'Reilly. He's pretty much going to be the game breaker every year. 78 games played. 21 goals. 58 points. That's a solid year for a guy who does everything. He hits, he back checks, he blocks shots, he scores big goals, man. Those 3 are going to be key. I can tell you that if they expect to go anywhere. Then you got, not from Matchbox 20, we're not talking about, it's not 3 a.m., we're talking about it's Robert Thomas, man. 72 games played, 77 points. Another dude over a point a game. 20 of those were goals. 6 of them were game-winning goals, and he was a plus 17. They're pretty deep. You got a guy who was in my pool, hockey pool, Mcdavid, huge year, bounce back year, 73 games played, 76 points, over a point a game, 30 goals. I sit down, man. Plus 29. And 3 of those goals, game winners. Game winners. Then you got a little bit of speed there too. 74 games played. You got Jordan Kyrou. Jordan Kyrou, 27 goals, 75 points. Another dude over a point a game, plus 10, and 4 game-winning goals. They're deep. They work hard. And on defense, that's pretty much been their staple for many years. Led by Justin Falk, trying to pick up where Pietrangelo left off 2 years ago. He got 76 games played. A defenseman, 16 goals. Madness, 47 points, and a plus 41. 6 game-winning goals in there. From the back end, from a defenseman. Down, man. Corey Krug. Bam. 64 games played, 9 goals. From the back end, 43 points, plus 23. One of those goals. Game winner. You guessed it. And you also got this guy. Don't forget about him. Always been good with the puck. Colton Parayko had a little bit of an off year. 80 games played, 6 goals. Still 6 goals from the defense right there. 35 points, and 2 of those 6 were game winners. You know what that means? He's got a knack for scoring a big goal. 35 points. He does it all. Colton Parayko, great player. Great player, man. And then you got the game breakers. As I said, O'Reilly, always a game breaker, but you've got Shen. Got Braden Shen, 62 games played, 58 points, almost a point a game, plus 21, and 3 of those goals, game winners. Barbashev chipped in, 81 games played, 26 goals, 60 points, 2 game winners. After all of that is said, I look at their injury list. They got a lot of people. Perron, day-to-day lower body. Bertuzzo, day-to-day lower body. Mackenzie McEachran, long-term injury reserve, upper body. Scandella, day-to-day lower body. Shen, day-to-day upper body. And Scott Perunovich, long-term injury reserve with a wrist injury. So that's a lot to overcome. That is a lot. There's only one team with as many injuries, from what I could find, and that is the Leafs. So that doesn't bode too well. But we'll worry about the Leafs later. And now we go to the Minnesota Wild. How can they counter that? How can they advance past the first round? Well, you may have heard of a thrill. Kirill Kaprizov. Sit down, man. 47 goals in 81 games played and 108 points. The century mark, plus 27, 5 game-winning goals. Doesn't get better than that. We're talking ultimate star power, man. You're thinking, what about anyone else? Are they just a one-man team? No, they got Fiala in 82 games played, 85 points, over a point a game, plus 23. Both of their forwards, plus 23. That's tough to come across, isn't it? 7 game-winning goals. Sit down, man. 7 of his 33 goals. Wow. Then you got Matt Zuccarello. In 70 games played, what did he do? Would Matt Zuccarello get a point a game? No, he wouldn't. He would get over a point a game. 79 points. 24 of those are goals. Plus 21. 2 game winners. Madness. And then you got Ryan Hartman. In 82 games played, he picked up 65 points. 34 goals. Man! For everyone that doesn't think the Wild could score, Kaprizov has changed that. He's definitely changed that. Now you got to start guarding Kaprizov. Everyone else gets opened up. He still managed to get 47 goals. And Hartman is a plus 31. 7 game-winning goals. You talk about big-time player. There it is. And on the defense, Spurgeon, 65 games played, 40 points, 10 goals from the back end right there, plus 32. This team is in the plus across the board. It is madness. 2 game winners. Don't forget about Brodin. 73 games played, 5 goals, 30 points. He's a plus 9. with another game winner from the back end. And you got this foily Dumba, man. 57 games played, 7 goals, 27 points, +9, game winner, and plenty of bruising body checks along the way. Tough to play them. And in goal, both of their goalies, I don't happen to have a card of them wearing their respective Wild jerseys, but you got Talbot, 49 games played, 32 wins, 12 losses, 4 overtime losses, and 3 shutouts. Goals against average of .276, that's a little high, and a save percentage of 91.1. He's been really good with the Wild since he's come over after everyone gave up on him wearing that Oiler jersey. But their big splash was picking up Marc-Andre Fleury, one of the best in the world. Acid star power, man. Marc-Andre Fleury was scooped up from the hapless Blackhawks, playing on a brutal team. He has a goals against average of 2.90. Pretty good considering what team he was on and seeing what the other goalies' goals against averages have ballooned to across the league. But since he's been with the Wild, I believe they've only lost 1 game. Or maybe none at all. I'm not sure. His save percentage was still over 90.8. But of course, being on the Wild compared to being on the Blackhawks, he's looked great and he's only going to look better. I don't know who to go with in the playoffs. If you ask me though, I would take Fleury. I would put Fleury in. So they got great defense. They got great goaltending. They got the experience there. They've got great forwards. They got some game breakers I haven't mentioned. You got Joel Eriksson Ek, 77 games played, 26 goals, 49 points, +16, and 3 game winners. He could do it. He could do it. He could get those big goals quite easily. You got Jordan Greenway. Madness. Jordan Greenway. Big man. He plays like he's Andre the Giant. 62 games played, 10 goals, but 3 of those were game winners. He had 27 points. Expect him to get a couple. He's the perfect player to get playoff goals. Expect that. And we got Matt Boldy. I do have a Matt Boldy card, but it is in an envelope as it's heading over to Farnhamville. Boldy, 47 games played, 39 points. This kid comes in and starts demolishing, breaking some records too, matching records. He had 15 goals, +17, and 2 game winners. Expect Matt Boldy to get a little bit of playoff goals, playoff excitement, man. And injuries, Zuccarello, lower body, day-to-day. We'll see if he's ready. Foligno, lower body, day-to-day. We'll see if he's ready. All in all, I think the Wild are going to pull it off in 6. That's my prediction. I would like to see it happen quicker. Love to be wrong there. So there you have the Central Division playoff matchups. Next up, we will stay in the West. And we will talk about the Edmonton Oilers and the LA Kings. There is some history there. As you may remember, if you're not a hockey fan, maybe you don't know this, but Wayne Gretzky went over to LA. Long story short, hockey started opening up in the U.S. They started getting plenty of teams. It did a lot for hockey in the U.S., of course. Edmonton Oilers still won a cup, and they were never the same. Of course, without Wayne, you're never the same. Let's be honest here. LA did manage to win a couple of cups, but everything's changed from these two teams. They haven't done anything in a long time. The Kings weren't even expected to make the playoffs. Edmonton Oilers are the powerhouse Oilers as you know them, who always just seem to have one line, never deep enough, not a good enough defense and goaltending. Have things changed this year? We shall see. Soon we shall see. But first, let us start with the team no one's given any chance to, the LA Kings. Led, of course, 81 games played. Foily, dang madness, man. Kopitar, beauty, 19 goals, 67 points in 81 games played. They don't have anyone that hit a point per game. But, again, they had this, everything was stacked against them. And they made the playoffs in the 3rd spot. So, -6 is what it is. 4 game winners, though. Adrian Kempe, 78 games played, 54 points. Solid year. Great year for him. 35 goals. -2. 7 game winners, though. Hey, if someone's got leaky defense, these guys could make you pay. The next guy was a huge pickup for LA. Everyone thought they overpaid to get him. This dude didn't get many points. Definitely doesn't get many goals. He's known for stopping those. He's known for shadowing people and playing great defensive game. Phillip Forsberg. But what did he do with that contract? Did he just get worse offensively? No. He got better, way better. 79 games played, 51 points. Phillip Forsberg. 27 goals. Are you kidding me? That surprised me, I'll tell you that. 5 game winners, though. What a year, what a year. He is a key player defensively, as we know, and the fact he's added that offensive game, amazing. Going to be tough to stop? We'll see. We got Drew Doughty. Speaking of tough to stop, only played 39 games. His gray beard, he's aging quick, but he still brings a good game. In those 39 games that he played, he got 31 points. Almost a point a game as a defenseman. 7 goals, big ones. He's got that clapper, he could hit, he blocks shots, and he just gets under people's skin. +4 on a bad Kings team. +4, come on. Not bad, but a team that wasn't expected, to do much. Sean Durzi, some Leaf ties there. 64 games played, 27 points. He was a -9. Scored 3 goals. And then in net, the veteran, you got Jonathan Quick. Nice bounce back year in 46 games. 23 wins, 13 losses, 9 overtime losses. Picked up a point, but that's a little shady. And 2 shutouts. Everyone knows Jonathan Quick could make that big save, and he could turn things around quickly, man. Cal Peterson, 37 games played, 20 wins, 14 losses, 2 overtime losses, and 3 shutouts. Now, if you look at their goals against average, Quick at 2.59, 91% save percentage. Peterson had 2.89, 89.5%. That's tough. So you're probably going with Quick there. But you also got Garrett Sparks. Sparks, yeah, the guy from the Leafs. He played 2 games. His goals against average is 1.86 and his save percentage is 93.6. So maybe they'll go with Sparks, but I don't think so. And game breakers, I'm going with the youth, a little bit of a mix of some youth and a veteran. First, we start with Kaliev. Kaliev, 80 games played, first full season, 27 points, 14 goals. And 2 of those are game winners. So we'll see how he plays in the playoffs. I think he could be an integral member. And Quinton Byfield, 40 games played, 5 goals, 5 assists. It is what it is. 10 points, -7, 1 game-winning goal. But he's a big game player. And there's no game bigger than the playoffs. So we shall see. Expect a little bit of fun from Quinton Byfield if he gets in there. And playing his last year, Captain Dustin Brown. Dustin Brown, he's old. He's seen it all. Dustin Brown is going to come in, 64 games played, 28 points, 9 goals. He's going to do what every good leader is going to do, and he's going to bring the grind, man. So that's what LA is going to offer. What are they going up against? Oh, man. Star power, man. Connor McDavid, 80 games played, 123 points. 44 goals, 79 assists, +28, and 9 game-winning goals. Connor McDavid. Everyone knows you're playing Edmonton. You got to stop a couple of guys. David's one of them. Leon Draisaitl, 80 games played, 55 goals. Sit down, man. Our first 50-goal scorer in the preview. 110 points, +17, 11 game-winning goals. Big-time player. Then you got guy they picked up from the Leafs. It was tough to see him go. You know what he brings every shift. We got Zach Hyman, 76 games played, 27 goals, 3 away from 30, 54 points, 4 game-winning goals. He brings the same game. Every regular season game is like the Stanley Cup final to him. Great work ethic. Great player. Expect him to be good in the playoffs. You got the Nuge, 63 games played, 50 points, only 11 goals, 1 game winner. That's not too shabby. Expect a little bit more from him, but he's just a reliable center. Great player. Expect him to do a little bit of something nice and special in the playoffs. And on the back end, Evan Bouchard, 81 games played, 43 points, plus 10, 1 game-winning goal in the mix of his 12 goals from the back end. Pretty good. Tyson Barrie, everyone remembers his time in the Leafs. Thing is, Barry's been good pretty much everywhere he's played. Solid player. He was never known for his defense. Came to Toronto and everyone hated him. It is what it is. I didn't. 73 games played, 41 points. Pretty good year. Plus 3, 7 goals. I mean, pretty good, Tyson Barrie. And then in net, always has me scratching my head. A little bit nervous. You got Koskinen. You never know which Koskinen you're going to get. This year, he looked pretty good. 45 games played, 27 wins, 12 losses, 4 overtime losses, and 1 shutout. But Koskinen makes me nervous. Personally, I like this dude better. We got Mike Smith. 28 games played, 16 wins, 9 losses, 2 overtime losses, and 2 shutouts. And you're looking at their goals against average. Mike Smith is at 2.81, almost 3 goals a game. Save percentage, though, of 91.5. Not too shabby. And Koskinen, goals against average of 3.10, over 3. And a save percentage of only 90.3. If you ask me, you go with Mike Smith, but we shall see what they do. They also had Skinner threw in, chipped in with 13 games. He went 6-6, got picked up a shutout. Not too bad at all. They got game breakers too, and that's going to be needed as you see the drop off in points between second and third. I mean, Draisaitl had 110 points. Hyman had 54. Can't just cut it in half. I just cut it in half. I did. From 110 to 54 points. So they got to get some depth. They got to just get some depth going on, man. Yamamoto, 81 games played, 41 points, 20 goals though, and 4 game-winning goals. You're going to need him to put some kind of playoffs together. Because if all you got to do is stop McDavid and Draisaitl, which is easier said than done, but if you just got to grind those two down, you got to get some other depth. You got to get some scoring. And what a pickup. Evander Kane. Brutal off-ice problems. Just a long list, but he chipped in 43 games, coming in late, 22 goals, 39 points. 39 points. That's almost a point a game. Plus 25 and 3 game-winning goals. And everyone knows he plays a gritty, tough game. Expect him to get some big goals in the playoffs. Then you got another key guy. Currently day-to-day, lower body. He's expected to be ready. But Nurse, 71 games played, 9 goals, 35 points, plus 18. 0 game-winning goals in the regular season. Prime candidate for a big one in the playoffs. All of this said and done, the Oilers are going to win in 5. That's my prediction. Could be wrong. It's always tough. But I just see that star power, man, and it's got to happen this year. LA, thing of the past, man. All right, man. Now it's time for the Pacific Division. We're talking about the other end of the Pacific Division. There was a crossover. Cross. What happens when you got a team that's better in one division than the other? You're supposed to go 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, but hey, seedings change things. Sometimes you got crossovers within the same conference, and that's what we got here. The Dallas Stars against Calgary Flames. Oh man, Dallas has their hands full. They do have their hands extremely full. How are they going to beat Calgary, who was ranked first? And Dallas ranked 4th. How are they going to do this? Well, if they expect to pull off the upset, it's all going to start and end with this man, Joe Pavelski. What a bounce back year. 82 games played, 81 points, plus 4. 2 game winners. 27 goals. Amazing. Pavelski, what a vet. Legitimate vet. And we go from a vet to a sophomore, crushing it. 74 games played, 79 points, over a point a game. But amazingly, 41 goals and 11 game winners in that mix. Unreal. More game winners than Mcdavid. And you got Hintz. Chipped in 80 games played. He had 72 points and 37 goals. 7 game winners. But one guy who did not have a great year. Tyler Seguin. Oh man. 81 games played. 49 points. If you know who he is, that's not cool. That doesn't cut it. But he did get 24 goals. But he was also a minus 21. Oh, he's got to turn that game around. Way too talented. The knack on him has always been the drive. He doesn't care enough. When he cares, he's having fun, he crushes it, but he's got to stop coasting. They need him big time, man. And on the back end, John Klingberg, 74 games played, 47 points. Pretty good year. 6 goals. Plus 40. No. Minus 28. Minus 28. Oh, man, that's not good. Not good at all. Then you got this man, Miro Heiskanen. Check that out. Nice little pre-NHL rookie. 70 games played, 5 goals, 36 points, plus 3, 1 game winner. Admittedly, not as good a year as he would like to have, but it's the playoffs. He's way too talented. He's great from that back end. Expect him to have a nice playoffs, at least to bring it every game. Give some problems to the Calgary Flames. You got this man picked up from the Farnham Farnhams. 82 games played, 7 goals, 32 points, plus 1. All dangerous weapons from the back end there. And in goal, they played 4 goalies. It was definitely a committee effort here. Khudobin, only 9 games, 3 wins, 4 losses. Pretty shaky, to be honest with you. Don't expect to see him. He's injured. Undisclosed injury, but for how long? But it is a hip. And as a goalie, that's tough. Then you also had Wedgewood. 37 games played, 13 wins, 15 losses. Not good. Not good at all. Oldby. He's on the long-term injury list. That's tough, because he had in 24 games, 10 wins, 10 losses. Little rough. His goals against was .278, 91.3% save percentage. It's going to be missed, though, because he's a veteran. You need him in the playoffs if you expect to have any success. But their starting goalie, go with the kid, Jake Ottinger. 48 games played, 30 wins, 15 losses. That's more like it. Goals against average of 2.53, 91.4 save percentage, and 1 shutout. Madness. They're looking good. The future is bright in net. Is that enough, though? I don't think so. You need some game breaker out there. Jacob Peterson in 65 games played. He had 12 goals. 5 of those were game winners. Only 17 points. But again, this is the playoffs. These are the people you expect to get your big goal. And Radulov, too talented, did not have a great year. 71 games played. 22 points. Madness. Only 4 goals. Yeah, it's the same Radulov. How can this man only have 4? Possibly because he's going to get a bunch in the playoffs. He's just saving himself for the playoffs. Minus 20 as well. Man, not good. Not good. Calgary's going to win this in 5. I'm sorry, Dallas fans. Anything can happen. And if it does, Radulov's got to do something. It's got to be a couple of lines. Calgary's going to win this in 5, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It all starts with these two. Beauty Future Icons number to 199. Johnny Hockey, Matthew Kachuk. Johnny Hockey, what did he do this year? 82 games played, 115 points, 40 goals. Get used to that 40 goals thing. 75 assists in that mix. Wow. Matt Kachuk, we know how he plays. Tough to play against, gritty, agitating, but he's skilled too. 82 games played, Get ready for that 40. 42 goals. Acid. 62 assists. 104 points. Plus 57. Wow. Plus 57. Johnny Hockey was plus 64 with 9 game-winning goals. Kachuk, 6 game-winning goals. Holy. That's tough to beat. And their line mate. Lindholm, 82 games played, 42 goals. 3 guys, all with 40 goals, 82 points. Down, man. Plus 61. Down. 9 game-winning goals. Foily dang madness, man. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. And then it takes a big drop off again, just like the Oilers. Then it goes to Andrew Mangiapane. 55 points, Acid, 82 games played, 35 goals. What a year, what a year. Plus 28 game-winning goals in that mix. Goes from 82 points to 55. So they got to get some depth going. If they have any hope to go deep, no matter how well they were playing in the season, you need depth in the playoffs. You also need good defense. Rasmus Andersson, 82 games played, 50 points, plus 30. 46 helpers from back there. 46 of those 50 were assists. He knows what to do. Great first pass. And Hanifin, bam! 81 games played. For Hanifin, everyone was worried about whether this man is injury prone. 81 games, 10 goals, 48 points, plus 27. Great defense. But the best defense you could possibly have is your goalie. Markstrom, another one of those worrisome signs for me. 63 games played. That's a lot of hockey these days. 37 wins, 15 losses, 9 overtime losses. Goals against average. Get ready for this. 2.22. That's sparkling this year. Save percentage 92.2 and 9 shutouts. Madness. What a great year. And their backup goalie, I don't have a card of his right now. Flatter, 23 games played, 13 wins, 6 losses, 2 overtime losses. Goals against average, still under 3, but a little high. 2.75. Save percentage, 90.6, and 2 shutouts. That's pretty good. Pretty good backup. Consistent goaltending there. But the game breakers, who's gonna have a big year in the playoffs? If he's healthy. Bam! This man. Nice. Buyback. Scribe. Look at that. Out of 25. Beauty. Sean Monahan. 65 games played. 23 points. Only 8 goals. But this type of player, playoff ready, I'm telling you, if he's in there, he's going to make some noise. Great player. I love the way he plays. Another guy who's built for the playoffs. 82 games played. 10 goals. 21 points. Thinking that's not great numbers, but if you know what he brings, be afraid. Be very afraid. He will crush people left, right, center. He'll still get the goals. He's meant for the playoffs. Expect him to have a couple playoff goals as well. But I'm going with a little youth. Under the radar. 32 points. 18 goals. Only 1 game winner. Dylan Doobie. Doobie, man. I said, you gotta get depth rolling. Rolling the Doobie, man. That's what I'm talking about. Rolling the Doobie lines. He's gonna bring it. He's gonna bring it. Expect him. Everyone's worried about Kachuk and Gaudreau and Lindholm. And then out of nowhere, you're gonna see someone rolling in. Rolling in, man. Let's get Doobie rolling. Rolling Doobie. Calgary in 5. Now it's time to head over to the east. And now we head on over to the Metropolitan Division with the Rangers up against Pittsburgh. Rangers getting home advantage, ranked number 2, and Pittsburgh with that 3rd spot. This series is really tough for me. We're going to start with what kind of problems the Rangers could bring. I know Pittsburgh has all of the greats there and their Stanley Cups, and Rangers look different this year. And it starts with this man. Oily dang madness, man. Star power, Fred man. 75 games played, all kinds of controversy, some off-ice problems in Russia, Putin. Everyone sees what Putin's up to these days. Madness. 22 goals, 74 assists for 96 points in 75 games. Almost 100 points and plus 21. Dangerous, always dangerous. He just helping people out. Passing here, passing there, man. Mika Zibanejad, 81 games played, 81 points. We're talking about a point per game, 29 goals, and plus 30. Those pluses up in the 30. Those of you that don't know hockey, plus how many times you've been on the ice when you score versus how many times you've been on the ice when you're scored against. So you want to be a plus player. You don't want to be the kind of guy that's known as not playing a defensive game. Or you want to be one of the kind of guys that's known as putting the puck in the net. Chris Kreider, 52 goals in 81 games. Sit down, man. 77 points. Only had 25 assists, but you really need to pass when you're scoring 52 goals like that. He was plus 19. So he's not always known for back checking. You could see that when you got the other guys on the line, plus 21 and plus 30, and he's a plus 19. Starts to drop down there, but again, he's lethal. 52 goals. If you're not guarding him well, he's going to make you pay. Who else is going to make you pay from the back end? Bam! Adam Fox, 78 games played, 74 points, almost a point per game, 11 goals, plus 18, 63 assists. He could do it all. What a great pick he was. What an amazing player Fox is. He's one of those Makars, and he's going to be good every year. You got someone like Jacob Trouba. I've always been a big fan. He hits hard. He's got a hard shot. 81 games played, 38 points, plus 25. That's what you like to see from Jacob Trouba. Dangerous, dude. Dangerous getting into their zone and dangerous with the puck. You got some youth in Keandre Miller, 82 games played, 13 points. I did have that card, but it is off to the U.S. right now. Plus 23. My goodness. But where they're lethal, what is most important in the playoffs, they say, is goaltending. And you'll be hard-pressed to find a team with better goaltending. Igor Shesterkin, look at this orange slice. I love it, man. 53 games played, 36 wins, 13 losses, 4 overtime losses, goals against average of 2.07. Playing that much hockey, just over 2 goals a game. Save percentage, 93.5. 0.935, 93.5% of the time, that's not going in. 6 shutouts. Oh, wow. That's the X factor, in my opinion. And their backup goalie, Georgiev, 33 games played, 15 wins, 10 losses, 2 overtime losses, goals against under 3, but it's way up there, 2.92, save percentage, 89.8. He's better than that. Leaf fans know that much. 2 shutouts. Excellent backup goalie, no question there. Game breakers, who's going to make a difference? Kopp, 72 games played, 21 goals, 5 of those were game winners. You know where I'm going with this. Slapnuts. How was Laffy going to do in the playoffs? You see these times, what he was doing for Team Canada. Way too talented. 79 games this year. 19 goals, 31 points, 4 game-winning goals, though. You only need 4 to win the series. Get what I'm saying, Slappy? If he scores 4 overtime winners, matches his regular season total, this is where stars are made in the playoffs. Laffy is going to be key. He's going to be a game breaker. I mean, their injuries, Kopp, yeah, that game breaker, he's day to day. We'll see. Lower body injury. Mott, upper body injury, day to day. And Breadman, upper body, day to day. They should all be ready to go. But it's going to be tough, no matter how stacked they are, because they're up against the Pittsburgh Penguins. If you know the Pittsburgh Penguins, it all starts with Sid the Kid. beautiful pond hockey hit. Look at this absolute beautiful card. 69 games played, 84 points, way over a point a game, 31 goals, 53 helpers, plus 19 Sid. He does it all. He does it all, man. Star power, man. Gets me all fired up. Everything this man touches turns to gold. You also got Jiggity Jake Gensel. 76 games played, 84 points, over a point a game. Always lethal. 40 goals. My goodness. That's just dangerous. Rust, 60 games played, 58 points. Are you kidding me? Rust almost had a point a game. 24 goals, plus 7. And Malkin, Gino only played 41 games. Yeah, he was laboring. It's tough to play through injuries. But in those 41 games, he had 42 points, over a point a game. You know Gino's always lethal. Never count this man out. If he's healthy, watch out. And he seems to be healthy. 20 goals. He only played 41. He still got his 20. And from back end, you got Chris Letang. 78 games played, 68 points. Very good year. A lot of people have been saying he's washed up. Does that look like washed up numbers to you? Plus 20, 10 goals. He still throws some beautiful hits. Dumoulin, 76 games played, 18 points. That's a big drop off, but he's plus 24. So they got some weapons on the back end, but it's all about Letang. Let's not kid ourselves. He's their most important defenseman. And in net, Tristan Jarry, 58. He played a little too much, if you ask me, and he's hurt. He's hurt right now with his foot. He's expected to be ready, but we'll see. 58 games played, 34 wins, 18 losses, 6 overtime losses, 2.42 goals against average, 91.9%. He's stopping it. And he had 4 shutouts. Backup was Casey DeSmith. 26 games played, 11 wins, 6 losses, and 5 overtime losses with a 2.79 goals against average, 91.4 save percentage. So both of them over 9. Pretty good. 3 shutouts as well. They got options. They're pretty good. Pretty solid in net, gotta say. The game breakers. Say everyone, let's say Crosby's not going. Hard to imagine. Say he's not, and Gensel's not going. Then Matheson chip in. 74 games played, 31 points, 11 goals, but 5 of those were game winners. You know what I've said all preview long? Those game winners. That's what's important. You need that in the playoffs when the goals dry up. You got Kapanen. Kasperi Kapanen, he's got the speed. 79 games played, only 11 goals, 2 game winners, 32 points. But he's one of those people. Could catch you sleeping. He's real quick. He's gritty. He does it all as well. He's not afraid to back check. But this guy, one of my favorite pens right there, Teddy Bluger, beautiful ice premieres, number to 149. He only had, in 65 games, 9 goals. None of them were game winners. Plus 28 points. But this guy, Teddy Hockey, he's going to get a couple of goals. Trust me. In the playoffs, he's going to do it. Dangerous dude. I'm saying, for the first time in a long time, I'm not going to be picking the Penguins. I sort of want to be wrong. I want them to win. But I think the Rangers are going to win in 7. Pains me to say that. Sorry, all you Pens fans out there. I know there's a lot of you. Arana, Callie and Jordan squad. But that's just how I see it. All right. Next up in the Metropolitan, we got a crossover. As the Boston Bruins head over to go up against the Carolina Hurricanes. That's tough. Carolina ranked first. They dismantled the Bruins in the regular season, but that doesn't matter. That does not matter at all. Let's show you how the Hurricanes got there and what kind of weapons they have to give the Bruins a little bit of a headache every minute of the game. Sebastian Aho, check out that man. 79 games played, 81 points, over a point a game, 37 goals. Yeah, wow, man, madness. Plus 18. Remember when the Habs thought they could just get him for like a couple of mil a year? And then Carolina got Kotkaniemi. That was crazy. Svechnikov, 78 games played, 69 points, 30 big goals though. Between him and Aho, he had 37, he's got 30. 67 goals between those two. Dangerous, plus 19. Everyone knows Svechnikov is just a dirty dangler, man. He will put highlight reel after highlight reel goals on you. You gotta guard him well. In the back end, Anthony DeAngelo, I'm not the biggest fan of his. He's not a great individual. I don't know him personally, but going on what everybody said, including his own teammates, that's got to mean something. But he's had a bounce back year. Got to give him credit. 51 points, shown here with the Rangers, now with the Hurricanes. 10 goals, 51 points, and a plus 30. Maybe he's learned his lesson on and off the ice. Jacob Slavin. Hurricanes have always had good D. The last few years, anyway. For at least the last 7 years. 79 games played. 42 points. 38 of them were assists. He's a plus 35. Jacob Slavin. Super reliable. And in net, you also got Pace and a bunch of other by committee amazing defensemen on that team. But in net is where it all changed for them this year. Of course, you had Antti Ranta with 28 games played, 15 wins, 5 losses, goals against of 2.45, and a save percentage of 91.2. .912, man. .912, man. 2 shutouts. But let's not kid ourselves. That was pretty good. Formidable backup duties there. But Freddie Anderson, shown here with the Leafs. Freddie Anderson, 52 games played, 35 wins, 14 losses, 3 overtime losses. Goals against average of 2.17, man. And a save percentage of 92.2. .922. 4 shutouts. They are going to go as far as Freddie's going to take them. Let us be honest here. They're a great team, but that goaltending is top end. But they rode him. They played him a lot. And now he has some undisclosed injury. We don't know. He's expected to be ready. Day-to-day thing, but Leaf fans know day-to-day with Freddie is a very scary thing. We shall see how that goes. Game breakers, if needed. They've got a bunch of them. They got Stahl. 78 games played, 17 goals, 36 points, plus 11. But he knows how to win a cup. He knows what to do. Look at this Foily. Dang madness, man. He's got everything you need. Martin Micas. 78 games played, 14 goals, 40 points, but 6 of those 14 goals were game winners. Expect him to make some noise. And of course, Trocheck, 51 points. Beauty, 81 games played. Just 21 goals, that's it. Matches his plus minus at plus 21. Expect him to have some big goals as well. Now Carolina Hurricanes, they're dangerous. How could Boston counter that? I'll tell you how, and they will. Because I'm picking Boston in 6. Brad Marchand, 70 games played, 80 points. Just a regular day at the office for him. 32 goals, plus 16. And you know what else he brings to the table? One of the top agitators in the game. Pasternak, look at this beauty. Foily, dang party, man. 72 games played, 40 goals, 77 points, over a point a game, plus 13. Dangerous dude. Pasta. But this star power right there, man. Patrice Bergeron. 73 games played, 65 points, almost a point a game, 25 goals, but a plus 26. Seeing that? Plus 26. Bergeron is the perfect player. Season, playoffs, or otherwise. Amazing. And from the back end, Charlie McAvoy, 56 points. Very good year. 78 games played, 10 goals, plus 31. Hampus Lindholm chipped in 71 games played, 5 goals, plus 10, 27 points. Big drop-off for McAvoy. But in net is going to be the big question mark here. Ullmark, can't find a Linus Ullmark card for whatever reason. I know I have a bunch. 41 games played, 26 wins, 10 losses, 2 overtime losses, and a goals against of 2.45. Save percentage of 91.7. 1 shutout. But it's all about this guy right here, the youth. Beauty, Young Guns, Jeremy Swayman. 41 games played. You see that? They split it exactly down the center. That's the way most teams are doing it. That's the way you should. So your goalie, your starter is fresh. 23 wins, 14 losses, 3 overtime losses, and slightly better goals against of 2.41. Save percentage slightly worse of 91.4, and 3 shutouts. Expect big things from Mr. Jeremy Swayman. And game breakers, they have a lot. They're a deep team. You got Taylor Hall, of course. But I'm saying Lazar. This dude, 70 games played, 8 goals. That's it. And 0 game winners. Why am I picking him? I had a vision, that's why. That's it. Just a Brockhillian vision. But also DeBrusque. 77 games played, 42 points, 25 goals. He's an agitator as well, but he had 8 game-winning goals. Expect more of the same from him. Expect a couple game winners and the upset. Boston Bruins in 6. That's my prediction. Sit down, man. 2 more to go. Hang in there. If you have to watch it in parts, I understand. I've had to film it in parts. This is too long for me. So, just hang in there, grab a drink, man, and enjoy, because we're heading over to the Atlantic Division with a crossover matchup. Cross. Yeah, man. Got my fingers crossed. Sit down. Washington, star power, man. Bam! Washington Capitals against the Florida Panthers. They have their hands full. The camera almost went down. They have their hands full. Beauty game dated moments from Farnham. Ovi, 77 games played. 50 goals. There it is, man. 90 points. Can't ask for more. Dude is old. He's old for hockey, and he's crushing it. 50 goals. Amazing year. Kuznetsov, 79 games played, 78 points, just under a point a game. 54 assists. Loves being a helper. Big fan. Poke, huge fan. Carlson from the back end. Nice foily base. 78 games played, 71 points. Just a regular day at the office for him, too. 17 goals as a defenseman. Amazing. 54 assists. Carlson always lethal and dangerous. Dmitry Orlov. 76 games played, 35 points, 12 goals from the back end. Both of them cracking the 10-goal mark. Scary. Now, I don't know where I put my Samsonov cards. I had a bunch as well. I know I put the stickers in the album, but I don't have one. He played 44. I don't have one with me anyway. He played 44 games, 23 wins, 12 losses, 5 overtime losses, and a goals against 3.2. As your starting goalie, you don't like to see that. Save percentage below 90 as well. 89.6. 0.896. That's not good enough. 3 shutouts, though. They have a kid. Vitek Vanacek. There he is, man. 42 games played, 20 wins, 12 losses, 6 overtime losses. Goals against average under 3, which at the very least you want. 2.67. And a save percentage over 90, which you want. 90.8. Just barely, but he's the best of the 2 options if you ask me. He's young. 4 shutouts. I say they go with him. And you got some game breakers. Of course, Nick Jensen as a defenseman. He was plus 32. 5 goals. Expect a big goal from him. I'm basing that just on one of those visions I got. That's it. But we know another game breaker. Every game, this dude just aggravates. Tom Wilson, 78 games played, 24 goals, 52 points. He hits hard, he fights, he scores goals, he makes it tough to defend him. And he's a dirty guy, man. Dangerous. Expect him to get a few big goals. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough because you got on the other end of that Florida Panthers who've been trying, just like the Leafs and the Wild. They want to pass the first round. They deserve it. They've got great team year after year. I love the Panthers. They're not the Leafs. It's not my favorite team, but they're up there. They're up there. It all starts with this guy, Huberdeau. Doobie, man. Star power, yeah. Beautiful Artifacts rookie there. Numbered to 999. 80 games played. 115 dang points, man. 30 goals. 85 assists. He's got more assists than he's played games. Crazy. What a leader he is. But you got more than Huberdeau on this team. Bam! Nice blue line auto jersey, numbered to 25. Ultimate star power, man. Alexander Barkov, one of the best in the game. Only played 67 games. No problem at all, man. 88 points. 88 points in 67 games. Plus 36. And Huberdeau was plus 35. Crazy. 39 goals. Barkov could do it all. Amazing player. Got Reinhardt as well in 78 games played. 82 points. All significantly over a point a game. 33 goals plus 25. Dangerous. Huge danger on that team. And on defense, you had some players there. Beauty, Aaron Ekblad, auto. 61 games played, 57 points, plus 38, 15 goals, ultimate star power, man. He's hurt with a scary injury he had. He's on the long-term injury reserve. Can he come back? Can they play long enough to bring this weapon back in so he could do what he does best, scare the opposition with his skill? In the meantime, you got Mackenzie Weegar. 80 games played, 44 points, plus 40. My goodness, 8 goals. He's a defenseman. I have to tell you that in case you didn't know. But in goal, they look good in goal. They've got a nice little rookie in there who chipped in with a huge 32 games, 19 wins, 9 losses, 3 overtime losses, goals against average of 2.79, and a save percentage 90.8. 90.8% of that time, that puck will not be crossing the line, man. 2 shutouts. But let's be honest here, it's about their starter. 54 games played. Beauty, Bobrovsky auto. I mean, come on, man. 39 wins, 7 losses, 3 overtime losses, 2.67 goals against average, and 91.3% save percentage. 3 shutouts. Beauty, Trilogy, auto, that I hit from a group break, I believe, from out of the box breaks. You got a lot of game breakers there. You got, of course, Bennett, 2 N's, 2 T's, and I expect him to get a couple of B's. LeBeau, that's what I'm talking about. 71 games played, 28 goals, 49 points, but Bennett brings it, man. He plays that playoff hockey that you need to play to have any success. You got this guy that, for whatever reason, people don't give enough love to. All he does every year is get better. 55 points in 78 games, 24 goals, plus 24. He's quick. He's dangerous. Beautiful ice premieres of Carter Verhaeghe now with the other Florida team, the Panthers, man. We got Forsling. Gustav Forsling. 71 games played, 10 goals, 37 points, plus 41. Those are my game breakers right there for you. And on injuries, they got Radko Gudas, lower body, he's expected to be better. Claude Giroux, they picked up Claude Giroux. Don't forget about that. He's day-to-day. And of course, the aforementioned Ekblad. Claude Giroux, add Claude Giroux to the mix of this. Bye-bye, Washington Capitals. It's gonna happen in 6, man. That's my call. All right. We are down to the last one. Toronto Maple Leafs against the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Toronto Maple Leafs set a franchise record. They had the best season they've ever had in their storied franchise. It's been around since the league has been around. And how did they get rewarded? By getting the back-to-back Stanley Cup winners, Tampa Bay Lightning. That's how they get rewarded, because Gary Bettman doesn't understand it should be 1 versus 8. What's the point? Why have a regular season to get an advantage if he forces you to play within the division? But it is what it is. That is what the Leafs have in front of them right now. For whatever reason, the Leafs are ranked ahead of them because they played better in the regular season. And they are the favorite. How can you be the favorite against the defending Stanley Cup champions? Anyone that knows anything knows that Tampa is the real favorite here. So let's not kid ourselves. And the reason why. For one, Steven Stamkos, 81 games played, 106 points, 11 game-winning goals, 42 goals, almost at 50 again for him. Madness. Kucherov, whether he's healthy or not, or says he's not, and is anyway, 47 games played, 69 points with only 47 games played. That's crazy. 25 goals. He's got a laser shot. You're seeing it right there, man. Whaley dang madness. We got Killorn. Killorn chipped in 82 games played, 59 points, 25 goals. Already huge drop-off in points from Stamkos from 106 to 69, and then to 59. And we got Braden Point. Beauty Braden Point auto here. We got 66 games played, 58 points, 28 goals. Extremely talented, lethal player. All of these guys very reliable both ends of the ice. But their star, the guy that you just cannot compete with on defense, 82 games played, Victor Hedman. My goodness, man. 85 points, over a point a game, 20 goals from the back end, plus 26. 6 game-winning goals. Are you scared yet, Leaf fans? Should be. Sergachev, 78 games played, 7 goals, 38 points, plus 6, and a game-winning goal from him, too. But where they seem to have an edge against everybody, perennial Vezina Trophy winner, Vasilevsky. Look at this foily party, man. $3.99, numbered to $3.99. Vasilevsky star power. 63 games played. That's what I like to see. Play this man a lot so he gets tired. 39 wins, 18 losses, 5 overtime losses. Goals against average, high for him. 2.49. Save percentage of 91.6. Pretty low for him. 2 shutouts. But in the new NHL, it is what it is. Those numbers are on par with decent numbers. He does not stand out at the moment until the playoffs start. I could talk about him being tired all I want. He isn't tired. He isn't that tired to win back-to-back cups and going on back-to-back-to-back, man. Elliott, backing him up, 19 games played, 11 wins, 4 losses, 3 overtime losses, a goals against of 2.43, save percentage of 91.2. I see holes there. I see holes on this team. That could be exposed. We'll get there. To expose those holes, you need a lot of weapons yourself. And there's more weapons on this team. Let's say the Leafs' spotty defense manages to stop all that star power. Palat will just come in, 77 games played, 49 points, 5 game winners. In the midst of those 18 goals he scored. Always dangerous. But they have Maroon. He's got a lot of cups. That's all he does is win cups. So he could always have a big playoff. He's a big dude, man. Big man. 81 games played, 11 goals, 27 points, plus 20 at his age. And another graybeard, Corey Perry. Someone could give the Leaf fits. We saw last year what happened with him and Tavares. Of course, that was an accident, which I fully believe it was. It was just unfortunate. Corey Perry finds a way to get under your skin, and at his age, still chipped in with 40 points in 82. He played all 82 games. 19 goals. That's impressive. 4 game winners. He's going to be key in that series against the Leafs. And their injuries, for now, everyone's healthy except for Point. He's day-to-day. He's expected to be there, though. Now, how are you going to beat this team? How are you going to beat a team that nobody has been able to beat for 2 years in the playoffs? 0. Nobody. Well, the hope and the prayer. That's how. And with this man, who always seems to have an aura around him, especially this year, since he's been in the league, nobody has more goals per game than Austin Matthews. And it's not even close. It's not like, oh, he's got 2 more. No, it's not even close. Look it up yourselves. This dude is everything that USA Hockey has wanted since day one. He just happens to be playing for the Leafs right now, and hopefully for the rest of his career. 73 games played, 60 goals. You heard me right. 106 points, 60 goals. 73 games played. He was on pace to getting 70. Had he played a full season, just under 70. 69. Unreal. 10 game-winning goals. He's shooting at a ridiculous over 17% shooting percentage. Plus 20. He's a great two-way player this year. He's tough to play against always, but now he's back-checking, he's hitting, he's got grit, he's got a spark to him, he gets angry. That's what everyone's wanted to see from these guys for a long time. And it doesn't start and end with Matthews, because you got this guy right here, Mitch Marner, beauty, rainbow, foily, rookie, star power, man. The Wizard, 72 games played, 97 points, 35 goals for a guy that everyone said doesn't score, all he does is pass. He had 62 assists, yeah, but he also had 35 goals. Plus 23, 5 game winners, and shooting at a ridiculous almost 16%. Crazy. Who else do they have? Willie Stiles, William Nylander, 81 games played, 34 goals, 80 points, just under a point a game. But he's -9. He's -9. That's the side everyone wants to see get better. Last year, he had a great playoffs. 7 game-winning goals this year. He's shooting at around 14%. Pretty good. He's got to shoot more often, capitalize on that. But it's not over there. They got their 4-headed monster. Zhuang, always a constant threat. John Tavares, 79 games played, 76 points, 27 goals. Everyone kept talking trash about him this year. Did you see what happened to him last year? He's one of the favorites to win the Masterson Trophy and come back, and what he's had to go through. Very lucky to not have a broken neck. The fact that he's back this year at a point a game, and some Leaf fans and Leaf haters are giving him a hard time. Shame on you. Shame on you, on all of you, man. Captain. I can't think of a person I would rather have as a captain than him. John Tavares, 76 points in 79 games. Amazing. And lastly, you got Michael Bunting. Had a great rookie year. I was talking to a few Coyote fans asking what they thought about Bunting, and they're saying he's like a 10-goal guy. Well, no, he's not. He's actually a 23-goal guy, 63 points in 79 games. All he needed was an opportunity with talent and skill. Plus 27. Agitating, scoring. He's quick. He's just the glue that line needed, that everyone thought was lost after Hyman was gone. And the back end, it's tough, but they had some good years as well. Morgan Riley, check this out. Beauty rookie patch from his days with Moose Jaw. Yeah, that's a 2-colored seam. Nice. Morgan Riley, 82 games played, 10 goals, 68 points. almost a point a game. Let's say almost, like 0.8. Pretty good. Plus 16. 3 game-winning goals. Morgan Rielly. Great year. Morgan Rielly is as integral to that defense as any. And then you've also got Giordano. That's a guy they don't have. They didn't have. They never had a defenseman like this. They picked him up, and they've had, 3 losses since they picked him up? That's it. 75 games played on a horrible Kraken team, mind you. -9, plus on the Leafs, but -9 when he was on the Kraken. 35 points. 1 game-winning goal on the Leafs. You saw it. Overtime. It was beauty. I'm very happy to add Giordano because our injury list is no joke. No joke. But we have depth here in Toronto. And we have our goaltending. Jack Campbell. Great year. When he got injured, everyone jumped on his back, gave him a hard time. He was not playing good through that injury, but since he's been back, pretty much ever since he's been in the league, he's played well. Everyone still finds something to complain about, of course. His numbers are better. We're better than Freddie's on the Leafs. But whatever. It is what it is. Campbell, with that horrible stretch that he had, mind you, he still finished with 49 wins, or 49 games played, 31 wins, 9 losses, 6 overtime losses, goals against 2.64. Keep in mind, he was letting in 4 goals a game for a while, so you know how amazing he played before he got hurt. Save percentage still over 9, 91.4, 5 shutouts, with a bad stretch, bad month. So those numbers would be as they were before that injury. Top of the league. Look at him here in his rookie years. He was still playing good there, Beauty rookie jersey swath there. But there are other goalies. There are so many injuries. I mean, they had Mrazek, who had 20 games played, up and down year. He finally started looking good, and then he got injured. 12 wins, 6 losses, and a goals against average of 3.34. That's not good. That's not good at all, man. A save percentage of .888. Also not good. But again, he played better as he came back from his injury. In the meantime, you had Shalgren. Came out of nowhere. 14 games played, 8 wins, 4 losses, 1 overtime loss. This is a guy that nobody even thought was a legitimate AHL goalie. Came in and picked up some big wins when they needed it. Goals against average of 3.31. Just slightly better than Mrazek, but not good at all. And that all happened because of that 8-1 game against Tampa. Without that game, his goals against average is respectable. And save percentage of 88.8, just like Mrazek. Not good at all. 1 shutout. Joseph Wall came in as well. 4 games played, 3 wins, 1 loss. Goals against average of 2.76 and 91.1 save percentage. Beauty. While their goaltending looks good for the future. I'm going to say it. They look good. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just hope they don't get broke. Yeah. Stay healthy. Now the game breakers. We got a few. We got depth this year. Pierre Engvall, 78 games played, 35 points, 15 goals, 3 game winners. He's quick. He's tall. He's tough to stop. Oh man, he looks like a giraffe. Great year for him. So expect that he could be dangerous because the Leafs have too many weapons. You got to leave somebody open. This man, Soup, beautiful, number to 45, rookie Reliance, Ilya Mikheyev. He's had the year that I knew he was going to have, as long as he was healthy. He's had to deal with a lot, another injury as well. Another bad injury. Dude has not had the greatest luck, but what has he done in the 53 games he's played, plus 16, 21 goals, 32 points, 4 game-winning goals. He's got a couple of shorthanded goals and made them look easy. He's quick. Probably the quickest guy on the Leafs. Top 3 in the league. I'm telling you, he's really quick. Mikheyev, X Factor. And David Campbell, who after getting 1 goal last year, has managed to come in, smash his personal bests like they were just a thing of the past, man. Like they were records he created as a kid. 82 games played, 11 goals. He had 1 last year. 26 points, got a game winner. Kemp is a perfect candidate, for a game winner in OT. There you have it. And now the final prediction is the Leafs are going to win this in 6. Sit down, man. I can't contain myself any longer. They're going to win it in 6. I'm recording this on Sunday. I know that the NHL playoffs start tomorrow, and this will be aired, I think, on Wednesday. I could already have egg on my face when this is aired, but that it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope I was able to educate some of you non-hockey fans on what's going on. And for you hockey fans, let me know your thoughts if you agree with these predictions. Not necessarily the duration, but who's going to win them. I would love to hear your choices as well, your picks. Thank you for those of you that sat through all of this. I really appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video, give the video a like. Subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Leave a comment letting me know your thoughts. Take good care of yourselves. Take good care of those around you, man. And I will see you all soon. Real soon.
I know that guy. He was in Gremlins. John McEnroe. First time I saw that guy, I thought he was on crack. Answer the question, jerk. Don't.